Good evening, folks. How you doing today?
There are four people in the room, and as soon as we get a couple more, we will be on our way. How's everybody doing?
Doing good,
Okay.
doctor. Good. Thank you.
Oh, yes, sir.
Can't complain. By God's
Gotta
grace.
salute you, my brother.
Colonel Perez.
Seemed as if you've been in your context of ministry.
Do you know about the medical cadet ministry? We got a
Oh,
different. I just barely made it to the house. I jump in the shower, and here I am.
my volume was down.
I asked, "Do you know about the medical cadet in our church, the ministry?"
No, not as medical cadets.
Okay.
That's in Florida?
Well, it's a program. It was established many years ago in World War II, where the church would send our soldiers as medics. I'm sure you've heard about Desmond Doss. He's what we consider the original medical cadet. Um,
Right. Of course, I know the chaplaincy side of it, but
it is on.
not
Yeah, it is under the chaplaincy department at the GC.
right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so, yes. So, healthcare workers.
It could be anybody in the church. We train the church members in everything that's available to the public without being a
Hmm.
professional like a doctor or a nurse. First aid CPR, emergency medical responders, do water search and rescue,
Yeah.
and the ministry concentrates on serving the community in times of disaster.
Hmm.
And I am the director for the Southeastern Conference, the best
Oh, I
conference in the
see. I
nation.
see. Good job.
Yes.
Good job.
I'm very excited. It's new to the conference. We've been working with it for a year and a half, and like yourself, not many know about it. So, to get churches to enter into a new ministry, it's kind of difficult. But
I guess on our side, being having been at Oakwood for about 19 years now, um, NAPS. We used to have a program called NAPS,
okay,
and these are often medical students who would go out on major uh, sort of first responders activities after a storm and so on. But that got disbanded for some reasons.
yeah, we sent a group of cadets to the Bahamas, and
Yeah.
they're actually working with ADRA and
Hmm.
ACS, and they're rebuilding one of our high schools over there right now.
Right. Do you have a certification program?
The only certification that we have that is for the state is a first aid CPR AED certification. Everything
Mhm.
else is like in-house certification.
Okay.
But it's very strict. Most of our training are based out of the Red Cross, so they are professional training.
Right.
So
Right.
everybody has to pass it. We don't give stuff away because when you are dealing with people, especially in the medical field, you really have to know what you're doing.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So what I was thinking, about is certifications. For example, that let's say a MAP student could get 3 credit hours for if they trained as a first responders level one or something.
Mhm.
Just like um, a chaplain, someone who does 1 unit of CPE could get something like one 3 credit hours for 400 hours of time within a hospital setting, supervised time. So there has to be an equivalency with the academic requirements.
Okay.
So, in other words, students are not just trained to be preachers and leaders of congregations, but also they're trained to help the community in which the church resides, or wherever there is a catastrophe.
Well, we've been thinking about that. It's funny you mentioned because I don't know if you know about the Miami Greater Academy.
Mm-hmm.
We've had leaders in one of the events that we did or at camp, asking us how we can incorporate the medical cadets into our schools, into our academies. So it'll
Yeah.
be something that the students will also take, like you just said. So maybe I'll be calling you sometime later on
Sure, sure.
in the future and talk about this, and kind of
Right.
pick your brain.
Sure, not a problem. And of course, there are other types of activities, not always dealing with disasters, but there are pastors who may want leadership training, and so a business person who may have seminars done at their workplace. Pastors can get a sense of what it is to run an organization. Not that they want to become president or something like that, but on the local level, even,
Yes.
which is at the heart of the work of the church. We, unless you've taken a course in business administration or something, you generally don't have that immediate skill to be utilized. But the community services at the North American division, I think they have a certification program, and what
The difference between them is they have the ACS disaster response. The difference between them and us is their main concentration when it comes to disasters like warehousing, for example, food distribution. Our
Okay.
concentration is going out and doing search and rescue.
Yes.
Building triage. Let's say a tornado hit a mobile home park. We'll go out there and build a triage, and people will be certified. They will know exactly what to do, how to treat people.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that, particularly in your area. I mean, and stormy weather and so forth. I hate to think about rooting up every so many months at the threat of a hurricane. You've got to leave home, pack up a bag, and go north or east or west from the Florida Panhandle.
Yes.
And but I guess many homes are built quite solidly, but there are no kind of mountainside, where the water just drains off. You're right there where you can get flooded, and sometimes it's hard to think about what people are going through. It's a very worrisome time when we see that weather forecast. And you wonder, how does work get done? Because you are either leaving or coming back.
Yes.
So that in itself is a challenge. All right, welcome everyone. Thank you, Daniel, for sharing that with us. Let's bow our heads for prayer. Almighty Father, thank you for this day that you have brought us through thus far, and we extend our prayers to those who are sick and recovering from illnesses. And we think of the first responders who meet human need at the point of tragedy and concern. We ask that you will be with them as they are doing your work. Our nation is in tension. One side may be talking up violence so as to be portrayed as good stewards of the safety of others. Another side may be talking about the tragedies that have occurred as a result of violence, and all vying for position and the mind of the people for November 3rd. We pray that you will guide in this whole process, for the gospel of the kingdom must be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. We know not the day or the hour of the master appearing, but we also know that we must occupy until he comes. take us through this course and other courses successfully, that we may prepare ourselves for the greater work that you spoke about when you were here, dear Jesus. That greater works that we will do. We rely on your power, not our minds and our education. We rely on your indwelling strength. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Well, since we started the course, we have had talked about a number of things, and we did a number of things. Just recap a little bit so that we kind of get on track this evening. As
Dr.
we began.
Benjamin.
Hello.
Dr. Benjamin.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. I just received word from John. His excuses, his lateness, he's a little bit behind.
Thank you very much indeed.
Sure,
and let's continue to remember Ansi and her family, as I heard her voice in prayer.
Thank you.
And we need the prayers of those we love, and we need to be praying for everyone. And I think he's here now. So as we are talking about research and so on, we started with a few short statements that you were meant to write. Can someone tell me what those statements were? Or at least just mention one and let another person mention the other one.
Personal reflections.
A personal reflection on your spiritual
Christian
journey.
Yeah.
And what's the importance of that?
I think it's to give us an idea of where we come from, where we're going, and an idea of, I guess, our calling and our passions.
Absolutely, absolutely. We apt to think that God only calls people who have like a clean slate, and or that our past before we met Christ doesn't matter. But God knew us before we were born. Jeremiah reminds us, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And of course, Psalm 139 also tells us about God's omniscience about us. If I ascend into the heavens, thou art there. If I ascend into hell, thou art there. Before I was formed in the womb, I knew thee. And so whatever our lives were like before we met Christ, that's important to him. And that has helped to shape the journey. And that can help us to identify with the people that we are serving. So we're not just serving out of our spiritual experience, but our social and emotional experiences as well. And so by acknowledging that and bringing that to Christ, and we acknowledge that he has been with us along these steps and these journeys, and it helps us to appreciate our sense of calling as well. What was the other one? So that was a personal biography, spiritual journey, that kind of thing. And of course, that helps us to connect in terms of our research, because it's about a need. If we understand what our needs were before Christ, and we see how God has been meeting our needs, then we want you to become familiar with a pastoral need, to be thinking about that. Not only thinking about lofty philosophical concepts, but think about people, the needs of people, and concerns. So you start having a desire to either want to present it to the Lord and to find a way to help improve that situation. So we are part of the process. We are part of the theologizing and the interpretation. We are part of the whole hermeneutical circle. Okay? And we can, a good dose of self-understanding is very important in the process. What's another introductory thing that we did? So we wrote a statement
About our pastoral concerns.
We have
Something
a
that,
bright student here, and we will ask that bright student just to hold on a second. Let's see if we can help some other students in the class. Articulate. Thanks, Frank. What was another statement that we wrote? All these things are very important. So, and it needs to show up in your paper and so on. What's the next statement that we wrote? Is someone Googling this or something? All right, I'm going to call some names. Everett, how are you doing, my brother?
How you doing, Dr. B?
I am good, my friend. I'm good. Good to see you.
It's always a pleasure seeing you.
All right. In addition to the personal statement about our journey, what else did we do? We wrote another statement.
I believe the statement was, if I am not mistaken, it was a statement about summarize your pastoral context, I believe.
Yes. So we are trying to get you to start thinking about your pastoral, being a pastoral theologian, being a practical theologian. You are going to be thinking about action research that is engaged in a human situation. And therefore you need to be able to identify a pastoral concern, a pastoral need that is not only based on, the traditional things that a pastor will do, visit the sick, conduct funerals, dedicate babies, conduct worship. These pastoral activities are traditional, but we want you to think about problematic activities that you want to address in your project, or a situation that you want to fix. So we give what sociologists would say, and we haven't done that exactly, but we give a thick description. That means that you give a lot of details about the situation, what's going on there. Why is it going on? What should be going on? And how can we remedy the situation? So you are doing a lot of observation. What is happening there? Why is this happening? What should be happening? How can I help improve that situation? If you have those sort of questions in your head, then your project, you can see how your project could start flowing, and you don't have to wonder too much as to what am I going to add next. So if you have these sort of questions in your mind, what is going on? So here I am in my pastoral context. What is going on? Or what is the problem in this context? So you are driving through the area of your church, and you just see a lot of sale signs. Sale signs. Every street you go on, sale signs. That's telling you there's something going on. You may not know what's going on, but if people are trying to get out of here, it's either they all work for the same company that has fired a lot of people, or there is some movement in the foundations around here. Maybe there is sort of very shallow soil where the water doesn't go deeply, but so it comes to the surface and people's basements are flooding. Something is going on. So you have pastoral theological eyes. You're looking for these things, and you're seeing these things, and you're asking, as a critical pastoral theologian, what is going on? Why is it going on? See, you're trying to get to the problem. What's going on? Why is it going on? What should be going on? They may sound like simple questions, but if you have an essay to write and you're trying to have a structure and you can write it, explain what the issue is, you identify the issue, and you know why that situation is going on. Obviously, everything is sin, right? Everything that is wrong in the world is based in sin. But after you've overcome that and you set that biblical framework, then there may be some other questions that you could ask. You can ask those questions from a psychological perspective, from a sociological perspective, from a political perspective. There are different perspectives and different body of knowledge that you can bring to this task. And even from some sort of professional perspective, from an engineering perspective. And social justice issues are being highlighted these days, and perhaps it has to do with social structures. Maybe it has to do with some form of prejudice. And then, how can I fix this? How can this be fixed? So you need to be able to talk about your situation in those ways. So we had these two paragraphs that you just had to write briefly. Then we took a couple of training exercises. One was called the MBTI. What was that about?
That was the personality test.
Okay, again, that's another one to tell you a little bit about yourself when you are in a particular mood, because it can change based on, when you take that, but it gives you a general sense of the kind of person you are. And if you find yourself preaching like this, and you're always bashing the people, then it's coming from somewhere. And understanding yourself, or you preaching like this, or if you're preaching like this, whether you're welcoming people, or whether you are blessing them, or whether you're telling them off or what, but it's all coming from somewhere, and understanding what that is. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it may be negative, and you have to understand yourself. And then we did we did a training, IRB on ethics. What are some of the issues there? And you're seeing this played out right now in terms of government and vaccines, and people are saying these vaccines are not going to be ready, but a political decision might determine whether it's ready or not. Here I come.
Regardless, I wouldn't take it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take that foolishness.
But what's the underlying concern for us as researchers?
Is it safe?
Hmm?
Is it safe? Are you talking about the vaccine, or you cover in
no,
general?
not so much the vaccine, but the principle of the ethical principle behind having full disclosure and the challenge is that in research you can kind of make the research say what you want it to say. If we say that the vaccine is ready, I mean, you can kill a few people, and it sounds as if people don't mind a few dying if we can get some positive votes here that says, okay, we're doing a good job. And it's easy to make numbers and statistics say what we want them to say.
So you're saying they can falsify it?
Yeah, right. That was a good part of. That's a very important part. And keep a copy of that document, because if you're going to go on and do research in the next 3, 4, 5 years, that could still be used. And if you move straight out of maps into a DMin, into a PhD program, and it's involving research, then you would be in good stead with that. I think they're charging now about $40-something just for the test. But mainly institutions of higher learning and various organizations would pay for students to do that. Even as you went on, you might have seen charges and fees to be paid, but that's already paid up by Oakwood. And then we started to talk about different kinds of research. We did a little PowerPoint, and we talked about the generalizability of research. And by this, we were referring to the possibility of doing a piece of research and that it would have national or even international value. In that sense, you would need samples from, you need a big sample, or you need a representative sample. We are generally seeking to do research not in a generalizable way. It takes quite a while, or it takes a lot of money and resources to have responses coming from right across the country. But we are trying to improve a situation. Okay? We're trying to improve a situation or build resources for training. And we have to make an application to an organization or a committee within an institution, and you often see the derivation IRB. What does that stand for? Let me see who hasn't spoken yet. Uba, what does IRB stand for?
IRB, I definitely know what that is.
No.
Yeah.
I know, doctor.
It's not coming to my mind right now.
Okay, the last word is board. Institutional
Review.
Institute Review Board.
Yeah, yes, that is the biggie. They hold a lot of power, and there are a lot of consequences can come to them as well if there is a misuse of human subjects. And as you can see, and you may remember from the training, the Tuskegee experiments and the lack of consent that was given. Hence, in our proposal, we have to write out a consent form that would have to be given to the participants. After we advertise and recruit, whether we put the notice up on the board, have someone announce it, Sabbath morning, we would like to form 2 groups, and individuals who would like to participate, there will be a planning meeting. And that meeting is where you would pass out the consent form, have people read it, you tell them about the research. Some of the information should be on the form anyway. Tell them about the research, and you let them make their minds up, and they will, and some will say, no, this is not for me. And they will sign the form, sign the consent form. Now, there were 3 basic types of application. Question?
Yes, Doc. I want to ask you a question. The proposal and the paper for next semester, for which we have to do, do you need to have participants in order to complete that paper?
No, but
okay.
if you are going to have participants, for example, if you're not doing full research, but you're doing the capstone,
right,
which the maximum grade is a B, and all you would need to do is find some data, evidence-based data that already exists, and then build on that.
Because my paper, I believe that, there's certain things I would, especially when I told you it was about stress management. And, I know that certain people would feel a certain way about this. So I was thinking about just doing the research and, writing the paper.
You're talking about a capstone.
Right, for next semester. Yes, sir.
Right. So the research or the researcher, the one who is going to get a B or above, will have to collect data, but the individuals who are doing capstone, they can collect data, but they don't have to. What they need is to base their work on evidence-based studies. So they will have to find a study on their topic that gives good evidence from which they can say, based on the research done in Michigan in a similar context, there's got to be as close a context as possible. The evidence shows that people who do this, that, or people who worship in this setting are liable to have these kinds of results. In this study, in my study, I would like to relate that study to young people age 18 and above, or young adults age 18 and above, or you can say young people age 18 to 35. Now, what you've done now, you have demarcated a context, a group. You've taken an already existing piece of study, already done by the North American Division, already done by a regional conference, already done by someone who has produced some data and produced some findings, and you want to build on those findings as it relates to your situation. So instead of you going and collecting the information, someone else has done it, and they have extrapolated some ideas which you think are relevant for you. And so based on that, you think that it will help you to fill a gap in ministry. And you know, there's a lot of work done by the Barna Group or various other forms of research that the church relies on to talk about church growth, evangelism, worship, music in the church, chaplaincy, and all sorts of psychological organizations dealing with pandemic. There are a lot of things that are being written now on pandemic and longevity. And you want to see how that relates to African-American Seventh-day Adventists. And you can pull out that big study that was done in relation to Black health by Loma Linda. So the evidence base is already there. For those who go out and organize groups, give out a questionnaire, gather the responses, analyze the responses, and pull out themes from the responses as meaningful answers or concerns from the people. And then they start building on that, extrapolating ideas from the findings. Okay. Welcome, John. Welcome. So, yes. So I hope that's helpful to everyone. So we also talked about 3 types of submission, proposal submissions to the IRB. Anyone want to have a guess? And you got the PowerPoint. 3 types of submission.
Is it the full?
Just tell me one. Only one. You tell me one.
Only one. Okay. The full committee review. Is that what we're talking about?
All right. Good. There's a full committee review. All right. And that one is largely for what?
That's for the greater than minimal risk to the subject.
Right. Exactly. So they want to make sure that you're not going to harm anyone and that the right provisions are in place. Another one?
Expedited review.
Expedited review. Good. Okay. And what's the other one? Begins with E. Begins with E as well.
Exempt.
Exempt. And that's the one that we are aiming for. If we could minimize the risks, minimize any problems, if we can highlight and show where there may be minimal risks, but it is not problematic because you have taken care of any issues, any concerns. There are resources that are present. And there's also the issue of confidentiality. How are you, and you have to say that in your consent form. If I'm going to sign up to this, and I'm going to answer your questions, and I'm going to talk about my pastor, and you're going to be taping it, I want to know where is this going to go, how it will be destroyed afterwards, where it's going to be kept, and how are you going to conduct this session without me being identified.
I have a question, Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that, and I don't know if I can do this, do it like in a survey type of form, because I'm not only my study's not just on the Adventists, it's the the religion world, how the social media affects church growth. So I was thinking about building a survey and putting it, for example, on Facebook. How can I incorporate the IRB requirements so they can read it, because I don't want to get their names or what church they're from. I just want, how can I do that?
So you have to have a target audience. For example, let's say you are dealing with people, again, from age 18 to 50. Or you have two groups, age 15 to 40 and 40 to 60, 40 and above. You can really get a good contrast between the use of technology between these two groups. For one group, they're natives, and the other group, they're exile in relation to the use of technology. And so you'll see how both groups respond to the same question. So straight away, you have to have a sample, and you have to have a limitation. So you're asking people between this age and that age to respond. So you're not looking for names, and they can help you. There's a way using SurveyMonkey. SurveyMonkey is an online resource for building surveys or even questionnaires that you can send out to people, and they can send them back to you. And there are a number of instruments that can be used to assess the responses. So if you get 2,000 responses, that's a lot of work, right?
So in SurveyMonkey, do you know if it keeps it anonymous when I receive it?
It should be able to. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like anything else. You have to put in various codes that it would allow, so they don't have to put a name, they don't have to put a phone number. They can put a phone number if you have further questions. Perhaps it's best to have sub-questions and have a section for additional comments. And so the additional comments will take care of other issues that they want to ask, and you just have to relate to that data.
You said have space for what? For additional comments?
Yes. There may be questions, and you got these bubbles that you're supposed to check, and then they may have a bigger section for additional comments.
Okay, thank you.
Doc.
I think I can reach more people that way.
Yeah, just 1 minute. It says 10 to 6. We're going to 7 o'clock. Is it 7 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock your time?
It is 8 o'clock Eastern.
Okay, got you.
So it'll be 7 Central.
Yes. Nancy, yes.
Yes, doctor. I'm still puzzled about what I should do, because I just want to stay with the exempt review line when it comes to do my research on underage children. So remember, I sent you something to get your output. Is it something that I need to tweak and just choose another target population, or should I continue to do it? I don't know if you remember my question previously.
It's a matter of, for example, if I am going to do if I'm
No
going to
backups
do
for 36 days.
if I'm going to do research with an at-risk group, say like children,
Yes.
I would have to build in my research a place for the parents to be present. So straight away, the risk part on my part is more or less minimal. Because their parents are there. Or some responsible person that they are concerned that cares about them as a relative who would see to it that the type of questions that are being asked would not be harmful to them or the family. Or another way would be to show the questions to the parents and get their consent. See, so you've minimized there in the minds of the parents and in the mind of the committee that, okay, the parents are going to see this and the parents will have to sign off on this. Now, obviously, there's still more risks there, but I think the safest one is when the parents are actually involved. That make sense?
It's still complicated. I guess I need to think about something else because it's not as easy right now with what's going on with meeting parents and the pandemic and all these things. Yeah, it's access, accessibility.
Right.
Is a problem right now for me to
But if you
do that research in that way.
Let's say you are looking at a particular congregation, and let's say you're working with a Sabbath school. People are not gathering now; these kids are at home. So you could do a Zoom group.
Okay.
That's one way.
Option. Okay.
About 10 years ago, I had a student doing something similar, and she was working on useful resources in the church for children who had mental health issues. And it was focused largely on the accessibility of the reading of scripture in the worship service. The idea is that they're not getting very much. Scripture is read very fast. It is not age appropriate. And so there was a lot of discussion about, even with her, trying to write a New Testament for the age-appropriate young people, or find a paraphrase version that was suitable for their age and have a separate service. But she was concerned that everything was moving so fast within a normal service that that the spiritual needs of the mental health children in the church, so either they stay home, and the parent, that means the parents have to stay home and they don't enjoy church. So how can the church make some changes, find some spaces, and have ways of helping them to be able to read the Bible? And Braille came into came into the conversation as well. And the parents were part of that, of the consent. And she did it. She produced the work. So perhaps the need for Zoom, and I'm sure there is a way within Zoom for us to develop groups. For example, if we were to work in groups and two of you were to work on a particular topic and another two were to work on a particular topic, you can have breakout groups in this Zoom. So you can actually run a Zoom class or a Zoom group without having to drive 50 miles down the road or 25 miles down to church or something to hold a meeting. You can invite them to the group and you would ask them the same questions, but you'll have two separate Zoom because of the age range. And the issue with the age range and having two groups is because you have two sets of data that you can talk about and compare and contrast and develop ideas about. See? And you can see the responses from one group to another group.
Okay. Thank you so much.
It's possible.
Yes.
And it's just being careful. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
So we reviewed some of the things in relation to research and the importance of our personal stories, and the contextual stories of your congregation. We need a thick description of that. Talk about it. Talk about the pastor who was there. Or you don't have to call the name of the pastor. The pastor who pastored there previously within the 70s, and then you have the 90s, and now you have the 21st century pastors. You can show a progression, and you can show that as a result of this is how the congregation has been formed. This is how they're used to doing things. And now you would like to introduce an intervention into the situation. Perhaps you do a survey of the church about a particular approach to evangelism, and you get their responses, and then you have the intervention, and then you have the survey again to see if the intervention worked, to see if they liked it, to see if they feel that it's something that they can do long term. Okay, and then we move to the writing up of the proposal. Was there a question by someone? Okay, I thought I heard a response. And so the next thing was the writing of the proposal and the, let's see if I can share a screen.
Hey, Dr. Benjamin.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You notice the syllabus is still not in the portal, though.
Okay. That one that deals with, was there something about nursing?
Yes.
That's the wrong thing. The syllabus, let's see here. Let's see here.
I
think I have it on the desktop here. I was going to bring it, lift it up so that you can see.
Okay. Well, I mean, you already said to us what we need to do anyway in terms of papers or what have you.
Right. But we need to put that up so that you can see the full thing. I'll. Where is it? Let's come back to that. So we are talking now about the project proposal. So now we are saying that before we could do this research, a a proposal needs to be submitted. A project proposal needs to be submitted. And we had, you can see that this Word file here. Can everybody see this?
Yes.
Okay, good, good.
Yes, yes.
Okay, let me see if this is the right one. No, it's not the right one, but we can come to that. Okay, let's share screen again. And looks like, yes, this is the one I think that we started to talk about. We're about to submit a proposal, and we said that for the Oakwood proposal, there needs to be a brief abstract. Now, the abstract can be finished off at the end as well, because you would have written things that perhaps you were not intending to write when you initially write the abstract. So the first thing is an abstract, a kind of summary that gives an overview of the purpose, method, and potential benefits of this research. Okay. So straight away you can incorporate part of that statement that you wrote. You just now have to say what the potential is in regards to the project meeting that goal. What is your intention? Okay. Abstract, statement of purpose, background of the literature, and human subjects. Everyone has seen this before? Yes.
Okay. You had started with it and you told us you were going to put it out there, but you never put it out. And I don't know if you finished it or not.
This is not up on the website?
I haven't found it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you had put this up before in class.
Okay, yeah, on screen, but she's saying it's not
Yes.
in the content area.
Yeah.
Perhaps let's. Okay, let me look at the one that's there. Let me look at the one that's there. Let me come out like this. I think this is the one that's there. So let's go through this one. Let's go through this one because it has basically the same thing. See study abstract here? Yeah, you can see the abstract?
Yes. Number one.
So it's the same thing. This is in the content area, background and so on. Let's do it this way so that if you want, you could actually pull yours up if that's if you need to. So we're going to be doing a little bit of reading with this one then. So we're talking about a project and talking about defining it. So project definition and the development of an action unit research. So in the maths degree, the term project is used in several ways. From a more comprehensive perspective, the term project means the overall theoretical research, the data collection process, the testing or carrying out of a program to address the concern issue or the issues. Evaluation of the findings and the writing up of a usable resource. That's the general idea of the project that we talking about in maps. All of these together may be included in the term project. The project could also be referred to as an act of ministry or a ministerial program. Okay. Ministerial program. You want a program, you want to develop a program that would seek to minister to secular people, okay, or minister to people in traumatic or emergency situations. So what you're developing is not simply improving a skill, but you're developing a program. A program which a student will construct with a group to test out a hypothesis or a theory. So if you are saying that when church members are trained to let me try something more simpler. Let's say you are trying to develop a program from the book Steps to Christ, because you believe that each of those chapters have a profound message that will strengthen the faith and spiritual life of church members. So your hypothesis is that the message and theme of the book Steps to Christ has the potential of strengthening the faith of church members. This project will seek to develop a study guide to Steps to Christ for young people age 18 to 25. So you're going to develop a program, you're going to develop a workbook, a study guide to show, or you believe that with the preparation of this study guide that young people between 18 and 25 will go through, you are saying that it will improve their spiritual lives. And you have a target audience as well, 18 to 25. So at the beginning, you may set up this group and you give them a survey about their spiritual lives. You'll ask them how many times they read the Bible, you'll ask them how many times they witness, you'll ask them what their understanding is about the gospel, how do they understand repentance, and what their prayer life is like. And you get an initial feel for what things are like now that there is no such program. So now you will develop a program whether it involves Bible readings or whatever, however you're going to do it, and you're going to run it every Wednesday for prayer meeting for for a month. You want to try, you want to look at it for about 6 weeks or so. And this is where the idea of, if you are going to collect data, it's good to get the proposal be passed this semester so that you can collect data from now to the end of the program. And you could be working on your project long before you take 572, because it does take a while. So instead of just trying to rush it in 5, 6 Wednesdays, you can try it out for 3 months. Okay, you got a chapter you got a chapter, a theoretical presentation, and maybe the next week you have reflection. You have a theoretical situation, and then you have a practical situation. And so you will take them through that program, and at the end, you do another survey, same questions, and you see the difference in the responses. And then you make claims based on the responses. Maybe you want to run it twice. And maybe you want to run it with a different group as well, so you have something to compare and contrast. And hence you have a program, ministerial program, that could address a particular need of a congregation or a community. It's based on steps of Christ. But the idea is, in terms of the actual need, you don't want to make generalized statements about the spirituality of people, so you do an initial questionnaire to get the data before you start the program. Okay? And there's hardly any risks involved there. It's fairly straightforward. Okay. So it is hoped that at the end of the project will be used as a resource to aid the development of the church. In addition to the above, the term project is also used to refer to the actual written document at the end of the action reflection research. Action means that you are doing something. You're conducting this research, you're conducting this program to see if it affects the spiritual life of the members, and you do a survey at the end. You do a reflection at the end. Right? Did you get that? This is for those who are going for B and above. Action reflection. So there's something that you have to do with the church members. Capstone folks will only base it on evidence-based research. And let's say the conference has, like there already is, a study guide. Okay? The Ellen White Estate has a study guide. And you would like to develop something similar, but you want to contextualize it for women. So you just can't repeat what's already there. It's based on a need, and it's based on a target audience from a particular context. You would like to address steps to Christ or develop steps to Christ as a resource for young people or women, because you believe XYZ will result. And then when you do the analysis, you will see whether you got that result. But it's the hypothesis that lays it out for you and guides your research. Okay?
For example, I wanted to use various Miss Ellen White's books, especially Mind, Character, and Personality, and Counsels on Diets and Foods, and various other books I like to use and to incorporate in my paper. As well.
You can do that as a research or as a capstone. If you are going to gather a group, whatever you say, whatever you are hypothesizing, let me just ask you, what are your thoughts about that book that you would like to see people learn, or what is there about that book
Mind, Character, Personality
that you're interested in? Yes.
Okay. It delves into the mind and what triggers.
In terms of the people, in terms of what you would like to see that book, because of what it does, because of what it is.
And makes them aware of the potential dangers of stress.
So you believe that with the study of the book Mind, Character, and Personality, members will have a better understanding of how to do ABC.
Absolutely.
Okay. And that you believe it would enable them to do ABC.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
So whatever ABC is, you need to initially know what is like now before you introduce the book, because you want to test to see if, when you introduce the program, whether it has helped, whether it has moved them from here, here, to over there. Right in the middle is the book. Initially, they don't know about the book, and this is how the situation is. You don't want to guess, you don't want to hypothesize, you don't want to preach about it, you need facts. So you do a questionnaire, or you have focus groups where you can talk about, ask them questions about certain behavioral issues in relation to the mind, in terms of character, and all the rest of it. And then, so if I were to develop a program that will address those things, will you come? We are looking to have it every Wednesday night for about 3 months, and we will be going through some key chapters or key themes from the book, and we will be breaking out in small groups for discussions, and we will be talking about certain practices, and you will go home during the week and practice certain things. I'll reflect on the kind of things you do, the kind of, your senses, what comes through your senses to your mind. What is it that you see and read? What it is that you feel? What is it that, you touch? Everything. And then you assess to see what percentage of people felt that it helped their, let's just say, mind, help their character, help their personality. Okay?
Okay, Doc. Thank you.
A practical theological project has to do with theological action reflection research in a specific context. It is not about abstract ideas or about opinions in regard to ministry. Rather, it has to do with a structured, measured, and evaluative pastoral program which is conducted in the context of ministry with the view of positively addressing or testing out a feasible hypothesis. Feasible hypothesis. So you write out the hypothesis and then you test it. Okay? The overall intention is to bring about holistic growth in the church and to produce training resources for others to use. Okay?
You moved the page up, Doc.
Again?
What you're showing us on the screen is not what you're reading.
That's what I'm reading.
I'm at the very
Oh,
beginning.
I see what you mean. I haven't
Advanced it.
I haven't shared it.
No, I'm at 1 and 2.
You have to scroll down, Doctor, so we can
All right.
see what you're talking.
Can you see? Can you see my cursor?
No.
No.
Oh, so the document may still be there. Let me stop sharing. Let me try sharing again. And let me see if I believe this is the document. Can you see? Is the screen moving up and down?
It's moving now.
Yes.
Right. So we just read this piece here, the second paragraph. And if you're having a problem, it's in the D2L in content area at the bottom. So a practical theological project like the one that we are trying to develop has to do with theological action reflection. So you're setting up a program, that's an intervention, that's the action. The reflection is after you have gathered the data, after you've asked the questions about their spiritual, personality issues and so on. The reflection is the assessment of the results and the theological significance and meaning for the spiritual growth of individuals. So it is not an abstract, it is not about abstract ideas or about opinions in regards to ministry, so that, you sit down in a library and you just have a lot of ideas and you just write out what you think. It's a good long essay really about the subject. No, you're actually going and getting information from people, human subjects. Okay? Rather, it has to do with a structured, measured, and evaluative pastoral program, which is conducted in the context of ministry. Is some setting within the church or the community, right? With the view of positively addressing or testing out, not just testing out a feasible hypothesis. Are we grasping? So the overall intention is to bring about a holistic growth in the church and to produce training resources for others to use. Now, there are a couple of steps in regards to that you would read about here in regards to the group. We refer to the gathering of the groups and setting them up and so on as a praxis. A praxis. Or the actual, when you're doing the program on a Wednesday night prayer meeting, that's a praxis. Praxis is both action and reflection, not just practice. We just do, but we do and think. So there is something called a learning covenant that we develop, that will be developed between the student and the congregation and the group. In other words, it's an agreement that you would show up for the program. See, if no one is there, then you don't have anybody to test. Yes? So it's called a learning covenant. There's an agreement that you would show up for 6 weeks. There's an agreement that you will fill out this form after the program and let me have it, or let the coordinator have it. So you as the researcher, you try to stay away from the data and the responses and allow someone else to do it, because then they can say that you skewed the results. You didn't like what they say, or what they said rather. So you threw that one away. So number one, we need people in the congregation or in the group at the prayer meeting who will commit themselves to that, and people who would agree to show up and to maybe manage the program, collect the paperwork, and so on. Learning covenant. So initial learning covenant provides students with student and the instructor with a guide to the students' independent plan and cooperative learning strategies. This is quite simple. It's not. It sounds complicated and sophisticated. I think I wrote this maybe about 8 years ago or something. In the project proposal, the covenant is taken one step further. The hunch is developed into a programmatic hypothesis. A programmatic hypothesis. What do I mean by that? It's the same thing that we did before. A hypothesis that says a program is going to be conducted, and as a result of that program, this is going to be the result. A programmatic hypothesis, and the content of the learning covenant is shaped into a more detailed academic, procedural, and professional research plan. So you would say over the 6 weeks, this is what's going to happen. First week we did with topic 1, second week we did topic 2, and we have a questionnaire. The assistant 1 will conduct this questionnaire and will house the results in a brown envelope, which will be assessed at a later date. Week 2 and 3 and 4, we will do X, Y, Z, and it's a programmatic hypothesis. You'll continue explaining everything that will happen until the time comes for assessing all of the results. Okay? The learning covenant is submitted to the instructor, but the project proposal is submitted to the instructor and the Oakwood University IRB board via the instructor. The instructor will take a proposal and the learning covenant we will have, so that we can see that there is a group. You are working with a group. It's set up, but it's not functioning yet because you need permission from the IRB to work with the group. But you could get consent, you can get the group set up, but you just can't collect data. In outlining the project proposal, paragraphs and bullet points could be used to persuade the reviewers that the student is capable of conducting this research in an informed and trustworthy manner. For each protocol of the proposal, abstract and so on, for each protocol of the proposal, notes are provided to assist the student as they write out the required information. Every question must not carry the same significance for all projects, but something should be written for each heading. Additionally, protocols and forms may be needed to justify intentions, verify covenant and confidentiality, and ensure the protection of research subjects. The proposal outline will also be helpful in developing the project's table of contents and eventual bibliography. As you already know, pastoral and practical theology has to do with theological action, reflection, research, and context. It does focus purely on the abstract, it does not focus purely on the abstract theory, rather on the discipline. On the abstract theory related to the discipline. It does not just focus on the theory. Often, it seeks to construct theory based on the critical integration and theological reflection on the practice of ministry. What tends to happen is that an established theory about a particular way of doing ministry gets critically connected to a hunch or a hypothesis. This is then followed by the testing of the hypothesis through the construction of a pastoral activity or praxis, which is then observed and evaluated for its usefulness and its contribution to a discipline or church development. In the MAPS degree, students will not be able to simply move directly from one established theory to the immediate writing up of a new theory about ministry. Rather, they must first establish and test out a hypothesis in the context of ministry. Theory or ideas must become operational. This must then be critically evaluated for its usefulness. From a social science perspective, this approach to ministry or project development follows a cause or correlational approach. So you have a situation going on in the church, and you want to know what the cause is and how to remedy that. And so you have the group. You got a cause, you got a group, you got a program, and you got an effect. So you can see how the project is designed, and you can see the kind of methodology that may be used. So you got that approach. Then that is done rather than simply a descriptive or rational approach, which is really a theoretical writing up of a situation. See, I can stay at home in a library and write about church growth. I can talk about what pastors do, and I can suggest some new ideas. That's not what this is about. It's about participating with a congregation in a particular way and have them involved in the process of changing their own context. And then, of course, you have the approaches that might be a cross-sectional approach or longitudinal approach. This will take a longer time than the above. Students may also think about their project from a inductive or deductive perspective, because the deductive approach operates from the general to the specific. The student may begin with a general idea, a hypothesis, or a statement about ministry, which must then be narrowed down to a specific aspect of ministry in a specific context, or in order to identify or evaluate a clear concern to the point of confirmation. To put forth a hypothesis which says small group ministries in the local church generally helps the church to grow is too ambiguous. It is too vague. However, to make this more specific and operational, one might say, establishing small group ministries in the Hillside Seventh-day Adventist Church. See, we have limited it to a particular context. We are naming the location, the Hillside Seventh-day Adventist Church. Not only that, but we have a target audience, an age range. Establishing small group ministries in the Hillside Seventh-day Adventist Church for 15 to 18-year-olds enhances youth retention and participation. And that's good. But look at it, look at how it could be made even more tighter compared to similar churches where no such ministries exist. Right? So you got something to compare and contrast with. A deductive approach would use this hypothesis and operationalize it to test and confirm the nature of its validity. And you have some additional reading here. And let's read this one. In addition to the above, students would also be aware of two additional approaches to the development of research data and statistics. Project developers and researchers often refer to qualitative and quantitative methods, okay? Quantitative and qualitative methods of doing research. Basically, data derived from a purely quantitative approach focuses on the evaluation of numbers, statistical data, etc. With qualitative data, or while qualitative data is framed or formed or developed in non-numerical terms. Technically, good research projects include a bit of both. Sometimes you see mixed methods. Final results must be evaluated and the potential for further operationalization may be projected. Now, we generally would do qualitative. When we are having people in groups and we are asking them questions for them to respond, and you can ask the question another way and you can ask them a follow-up question. We are dealing with people's feelings and ideas. It's qualitative. That's called qualitative. But if you simply do a questionnaire and you look mainly to the percentages of 2% of the people said this, 5% of the people said that, it's more quantitative. We are dealing largely with qualitative. Okay. So here's a basic way to go about it. Begin with a broad question or a hunch in a specific context, like what we did. Narrow down the concern to a hypothesis. So this is what you now need to do, is to turn your hunch, turn your contextual statement into a hypothesis. Okay? So I'd like you to do that for next week. And I think we did say last week that you should be writing that out in terms of building it into an abstract and then teasing out a hypothesis. So you tease out, just like we have up here, there is a feeling that small group ministries in a local church generally help the church to grow. But that's not sufficient. You can see how it is developed here as a hypothesis. So that's what you've got to do with your hunch now. Then you have to look to see what else is going on in the literature. What are other people saying about that same type of activity? You can go into the Oakwood Library online, into their databases, and search the databases, and you will get full papers, full research papers. You can search EBSCO, or there's a religious database, several religious databases there, and you will get full-blown articles. And in the search menu sections, you can narrow down your research to peer review research. That is, colleagues and scholars in that same field have reviewed that paper, either in a journal or have given feedback to that scholar. They presented the paper somewhere. It's called peer reviewed. So it's not just someone's ideas out there. And that's what they're talking about in terms of the pandemic and the various types of vaccine. Have these findings been peer reviewed? Okay, by other doctors? Or is this just the super doctor speaking? Okay. So you do the literature.
I have a question about that. You said for next week you want us to turn the what our research is going to be about into a hypothesis.
Yes, you need to be you need to be doing more than that. But I'm saying that is a first step. You need to actually have by next week you should really have done that. But don't stop there. Narrow it down and look at. You can go into the Oakwood Library, online library database, and search out, do a search for the literature. Let's say it's about church growth. You search for articles on peer review articles on church growth among teenagers or among adults. Okay?
Okay. And this is all as we put together our project proposal, correct?
Exactly. So really, I'm helping you to see what needs to be done and saying to you to go ahead and develop it now as we are discussing, as we are meeting, as we are, and as you're doing your reading. This is the kind of thing that you should be doing now to build a proposal. So we are talking about how to build a proposal and to go ahead and do that.
So you're saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, Doc. So you're saying is that next week you want a paper on the literature review in regards to church growth among teenagers?
No, I don't need that. I'm saying if you are writing about church growth,
Oh no, I'm not.
right, by next week you should really be, you should have searched out the literature to figure out what's out there. Let's say you've gotten 5, 6, 10 good articles on your topic. See? So all you need to do, search out the literature and get 10. So number one, you got a hypothesis, right? You need to have your hypothesis. It'll help you build out your abstract, build your hypothesis, and discover, search out 8 to 10 titles of articles. Most of them would be in PDF. So you save it down in a file. Literature review, project literature review. So that finding may take half an hour. You may find that there are 10,000 articles. So you got to narrow your search down to a particular age range if you're doing, like the hypothesis above suggests. And you don't have a lot of time. You don't want to look through all of that, so you narrow it down. Narrow down your search. Narrow down your topic. And then select 8 to 10, download them and save them in a folder. So next week you should have at least a good 10 articles on church growth. Now, one of the challenges would be that you try to look for articles in the last 10 years. And that's a lot. Big span. But in the last 10 years on that subject, what have scholars said about church growth in the last 10 years? And it's out there. You just have to search for it and select the ones that you think would be useful for you.
I think mine should be easy because social media hasn't been around for too long. So I'm doing church growth and social media. It's my research.
Oh, you may find that there's more material on social media about social media than church growth. That's all people talk about these days.
Or I should at least get more than, I'll do the 8 to 10 resources on
at least
stress management.
It doesn't mean you don't have to do the minimum requirement for anything. If you had 20 in your literature review, or as a general list from which you're going to choose, great. Right?
Okay. I'll look up stress management articles, which is great. Okay.
Another thing you can do, start doing, is get permission from your pastor, from your church, to set up two groups, right? And to form a group for from which you would choose or organize two focus group, and so that you want to put announcements in the bulletin, you want to put it on the notice board, or you want it to go out on Zoom at the end of worship. That you'll be having a Zoom meeting and you're inviting people who would like to help you in a research project that you're doing for your master's degree, and you're looking for the first 15 or your first 20 people or something, and out of that 20 you develop a group of maybe 8 each. Choose an odd number, 7 each or 9 each. Okay.
So Dr. Benjamin, so this is not pertaining to people who are writing a capstone capstone, isn't it?
Yes, you have to do that.
You still have to do that too.
Yes, I mean, you may not collect the data, but the experience of doing it provides you with the skills so that when you, if you do the capstone and you had to give a purpose statement for your PhD application, you can talk about what you have done. That you did recruit the group, that you gotten permission, but you're just not going to collect data. You can talk to them about the research that you're going to do, and you can have a conversation with them, but you're not going to collect data if you don't want to, and you can only do it when you get permission. But the idea is, whether you're doing capstone or not, having the experience to be able to say, I have done this. And I can tell you, we have a number of people who have gone on to do their doctorate, and they call us back and say, Doc, this was like a piece of cake because of what we did at the MAPS degree. When we explained to them what we did and how we were trained, they say, you do IRB? You know, the Association of Theological Schools generally don't do IRB on the master's, even the MDiv work. Some schools do, but it's not really required. It's more required, but you have to do it on the doctoral level, particularly for a Doctor of Ministries that is a thick Doctor of Ministry program.
Well, after this master, this is it for me.
Well,
after this master's, the next semester, that's it. I'm not thinking about a doctorate degree.
Well, see what the Lord says. See what the Lord says.
I know what the Lord says. That's all right.
That's not what the Lord says. Because what you started on the maps, you can continue with a doctoral in your doctoral degree.
You can, but that's it.
All right. I'll talk to you in 3 years' time, God's willing.
Yes, I'll be a medical missionary or whatever.
All right.
That's it.
Okay. So yes. So you get permission. Okay. And all of this could be written up, of course, in your proposal, right? All that's written up. But we're going a little further here just to help you to see what will happen eventually when you collect data. Choose a group to assist in planning, data collection, and so on. Design and organize ideas and so forth. Observe and measure differences between previous data, that's the first data, and this is when you've gotten permission. See? And then data needs to be analyzed, and results, whatever the conclusions are, and then you can relate the result with the hypothesis to see if everything has worked out. You look for any surprises and so on. Okay? So I'm going to leave this one with you. This time, these are the notes that are in first and second column, right? Are the notes that are on the sheet that I initially was going through, but I also added some notes in the far right-hand column. Yeah? To help you think through these sections here. Got it?
Yes. Could you please upload everything tonight, Doctor? So we can.
Right. This is already there.
Yeah, I think that one's there, but the one that you were showing us before is not there.
Which is the same thing as this middle column. So if we are on trying to see, okay, my D2L is, if we go to content, oh, it has just knocked me out. I'm resubmitting in content area. So it's taking me back into D2L. I am in D2L, and under the section annotated. So this is already what we just went through is in that last folder, annotated proposal. The sample proposal is the first one, sample of an approved IRB proposal. That's the one that has the yellow in it from that particular student, right?
Yeah, we have that. Yeah.
Doctor,
I guess.
is there any way we could get one that does not have the yellow in it so that we can see exactly what correct one looks like? Because we don't have the where he made the correction or they made the corrections. I'd like to see what a correct one look like. One that that totally passed without needing any corrections. Oh, y'all.
No one has had that privilege.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no one has had that privilege. And most people will have something to do, something to add or correct.
Okay. Well, number two, can we have? I know you said that whatever you've gone over is in the first.
So that's what I'm up. Can you see my D2L screen?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
So this.
I can't see your D2L screen, but I can see your annotated project proposal. The one I'd like to have would be the one that you said that had the Oakwood part on it.
So
this one I have.
Okay.
This one is right.
I'm in my D2L screen, and I am opening. I'm creating a folder. What should we call that? I call it OU IRB project protocol.
Is that in the contents?
Yes, contents, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, now I'm going there and let's see. Okay, trying to see now how we can upload that file. What did we call it?
OU something. IRB project.
It was annotated. No, it's not annotated. The annotated is the one. This one, right? The one that we just looked at. This is the annotated one.
It's the OU IRB project protocol.
Right.
Dr. Benjamin, I'm sorry. I need to favor. Right now, I'm going to preach.
Okay. Yes. Prayer meeting. Got you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. I'm talking to Daniel. He explained me everything. Okay.
Okay. Got you.
Thank you, doctor.
You are welcome.
All right. Guys, I'll see you.
Okay. So it's not this one here. Let's see. I just want to make sure. Yes, I think this is the one. So what I'm going to do here, save as. If I just save it as. Okay. Protocol for completing an Oakwood. Okay. I am going to protocol for. Okay. All right. I've saved. Oops. Tells me it's already existing in that. Why would it be existing? I can't even see it there. OU is being saved at protocol. Let me do. I'm just going to put an additional OU at the beginning. So it is being saved as a different file. And now I am going to go into. Where is my? Oops. I'm looking for my D2L. D2L. Nope, my Zoom is coming up. Where is my D2L? Okay, if I. This is not D2L. Okay, I think I got it. So I come to this one here. Where is maps? Okay. So I believe that has been added. Okay. Now I'm creating another folder. Let me do. Another one called Arabian, and I'm going to upload a file called Arabian. Let's see if it's on the desktop. Let's see if it's on the desktop. Nope, I can't see it on the desktop, but I'm gonna have to do that one later. Let me show you what this is about here. Where are we? Okay. So what I'm going to do is stop sharing. Stop sharing. And share screen, and I'm going to show you. I would need to give. Can you see this screen here? Turabian depth and reflection.
Yes.
So we, I want you to, for the book Turabian, just to browse, look at these questions, and become familiar with what Turabian says about them. And then you will just make your notes on the right-hand column here. And at the end of the semester, you would just put it in the Dropbox. So Turabian has several parts, and I've selected a few here just for some key things. So Turabian Part 1, chapters 1 and onwards, here are some questions. So all you do is you go to Turabian, and the question is, what does Turabian mean by research? All right, and then you just type it there. This is to keep it fresh in your mind. Okay, just to keep it fresh in your mind, and it's a process of going through some key sections of the book. You don't need to write a paper. You don't need to do a book review. You just need to make these notes and then just submit it in the Dropbox at the end of the semester. What are the facts? Why are facts important in research and not just authoritative opinion? You know, the pastor says. How are facts and data about a topic? How are facts or data about a topic gathered? Oops. No, that's a good sentence. How are facts or data about a topic gathered? That's the question. How are they gathered? Well, we just went through some of that, right? Are they the same as feelings or personal beliefs? Okay. Why does good research involve the development of the asking of good questions? So this section then helps you to write your surveys and help you to write your questionnaire for the small groups. The second, or chapter 2, define a project, topic, question, problem, working hypothesis. This section here in Turabian helps you to do what we just talked about. What are the 3 types of research questions Turabian recommend? And how should you go about developing and proposing a hypothesis? And you are making these notes for you, not necessarily for me. I just want to know that you've done it. But you are making it and writing it out for yourself. Hypothesis. Where can I find information about hypothesis? Okay, you Google a few things, but Turabian has something to say because that's our book, and you can get that information there. All right. What are the 3 kinds of sources, and how should they be used in research? How do you critically engage your sources? What is research? What is a research argument, and why should your hypothesis be turned into, or at least make a claim, like the small groups will help improve the church? Can you make a claim? Tell us what you think your project is going to do about, do for, or in regards to this concern. How does Turabian say? You should quote, paraphrase, or summarize information. What about the use of citations and inadvertent plagiarism? I didn't intend to plagiarize, but I need to know what an inadvertent plagiarism or plagiarized information might look like. So Turabian chapter 7 will help you do that. Presenting evidence in tables. How do I use graphs and tables and different things? Okay? You just make a note there for yourself. What have you learned from this chapter about different forms of presentations? Yeah, this is from. Okay? Turabian Part 2, review sources, citations, bibliography, and styles. Which one is specific for your work? And finally, Turabian, review spelling, punctuations, abbreviations, and other details. Were there any surprises? Anything that you learned, anything that you want to keep an eye on? Okay? So that's how we will use Turabian. And Vimaster, we will refer to Vimaster as we go through the protocol and develop it as well. Okay? Or perhaps I could actually put Vimaster next to the sections as well, so that at least you can have that in relation to the question. So you don't have to read that one through, because you're reading those 2 books. So these become resources, usable resources, because you have these questions to prompt you. Okay? That's why I developed it that way. All right. Rather than having an online discussion, discuss in 100 words what Turabian means by research. No. So we try to minimize all this this time so that you can be writing your abstract, taking your concern and build it into a hypothesis, looking at the review, the literature in relation to your topic, collect that information. Okay. Think about whether you need to collect data, if you're going to use a capstone later on or not. You still have to show that you know how to develop this in case you need to do it. Okay. I think you're still hanging in there with me. You want me to continue? I'll say the benediction.
When will you put this one out in D2L?
I was trying to put it up now, but let's try to do it right now.
Well, the folder's there, but it's empty, so just gotta put it in. That's all.
Right, Turabian depth and reference and reflection. I think I put this on the desktop. Let me just see. Let me just save it as.
Doctor, that's in there. It's on the right side. If you just keep scrolling down on the right side of the screen. I saw that today.
Okay.
Because I was wondering, in addition to doing this, you told us about the book reports last week.
Yes.
And you were going to put the dates and the pages.
We're going to put that in the course
content
schedule.
Okay.
But we gave you the date.
Yeah.
And I think first of all we divided practical theology and qualitative research. We divided into two reading reports, right? The first one is due on the 30th. The second one is due on October 12th.
Okay.
And then we had two more, I believe, for the other book. What were the dates for that one now?
I think it was October 26th.
October 26th. And October 26th. Let me just see.
October 26th and November 16th.
Okay, October 26th, November 16th. Okay, that's what we got.
Are you going to upload the syllabus tonight?
Let me see where we are in putting that up. Let's first do this. Let's get this out of the way. We've gotten this one that we were going through, right? So that's already up there, right?
I don't see it.
At the bottom, on the left-hand side in content.
Yeah, but it's empty.
No, the one before that one.
Let me see.
On the left-hand side, I don't see that.
Yeah,
Okay, you have to look on the right-hand side. It's under like where the announcements are.
No, not there. Not there. On the content.
That's where I saw it at today.
You go under content.
It's there as well.
It's all the way down at the bottom on the left-hand side.
Yeah, but when you click on it, it's
and you are correct. On the news announcements is there as well. Yeah.
Yes.
So let me turn that off.
Yeah, it's at the bottom. It's all the way at the bottom, Doctor. But when you scroll up to look at it, it's empty. You still need to upload that file.
Right. So I've created a folder. I've created the folder for
Turabian.
Okay. And so this one that you are seeing now, let me just save a copy on the desktop and then just upload it. It's called depth Learning. I think this is number 3. Okay, this is the third one. So let's save it on. Let's just save it on the desktop. And then we can go back now into D2L. Upload. Go back to desktop and upload number 3. Here it is, right here. So we do number 3 and then add. It's in. Okay. Just check that.
Yes.
If it's
It's in
in.
there now, yes.
And then what I need to do is to put those dates into pull those dates into the syllabus, and then let's say stop sharing. So now that we've got that,
I'm sorry, Doc. Please forgive me.
Mm-hmm.
The Turabian. Where did you put it at again?
on the left hand side in content.
Right, I know where it's at, but it's there now.
Yes,
Yes.
should be. Help me out. Just check and see before I close it
It's
out.
on there. I just downloaded it to my computer.
Oh, no, I just found it too.
Okay. And you don't have to wax eloquent in that right hand column. It's there to give a short summary so that when you need it, when you're writing your paper, you would remember what you found and how to actually do that. And I'll keep it open because then what I'll probably do is get ViMaster and actually just go through the text of any missing thing. I think I should put something in here that is just labeled as literature review, and perhaps even APA style, and do it with ViMaster. All right, let's see if we can locate that. Syllabus, and I just need to add those things in there. Oops, that's my email. I just need to add those dates in there if I haven't done that already. So on the desktop, I'm looking for 571. Let's try.
Hey, Dr. Benjamin.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I don't mean to just chirp you. Please forgive me. I got to head on now.
You got to run. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, the Lord bless you and keep you, my brother.
God bless you, Dr. Benjamin. God bless all.
Be safe.
Take care.
Looking forward to hearing from you.
You know you will be. Take care.
I need my Sabbath greeting, you know.
You will get it. You will get it. Have a good one, everybody. Take care, Doc. I'll talk to you.
All right.
God bless.
Yes, sir. That's okay. So I'm going to just open up that syllabus. All right. So I have the syllabus opened all the way through all the details, and I need that section there to change this. Oh, this one is contextual pastoral research. Yes. And what I'm trying to put in the syllabus as well, I'm going to show you. All All right, let me. You can see the screen.
Yes.
Okay.
Doctor, I need to be excused myself also.
Right. Okay, I understand. Okay. But,
Good night, everybody.
peace to the Lord be with you.